Oh, man. You can't always get what you want.
Unreal.
Oh, man.
Well, you can try.
Which
I don't know if the Nuggets did tonight.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Losers Lounge.
Wah, 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 wah.
And not even just any Losers Lounge. The Toyota Losers Lounge, of course. Go out and support your front range Toyota dealers. Best cars in the world. Presented by Bet365. Nuggets dropped Game 4. Does it mean a whole lot in terms of is Denver going to win? Denver's still going to win this series, knock on wood, almost certainly. But man, it would have been nice.
Yeah.
Saturday night, perfect day, it would have been nice. We don't get to do it. We're going to talk it all through, though. Not going to sugarcoat everything. There's some concerning stuff. We're going to get into all of it. Lucky for all of us, we got Harrison Wind here.
Man, unfortunate loss tonight because we were ready for an all-timer in this lounge, in the Toyota lounge. The bar was ready. We were ready. The Nuggets didn't look like they were ready, though.
What about the equipment manager?
He was not ready.
Man,
and it starts with him. He's got to be better in Game 5.
If there's anybody to blame, I mean, it could be the equipment manager. I got D-Line Co.
Yeah, man. Ultra, mega bummer. The Nuggets, this feels like the Spurs game in a way where it's like, man, just do what you're supposed to do. Would you please? Like,
I know.
The Nuggets are not interested in delivering vibes as regularly as we want them.
But they do bring them a lot.
They do. Listen, I mean...
the Nuggets are 300 days of sunshine.
Yes.
Almost every day.
It's true.
Almost every day it's sunny. Over there, Superstar Dev.
That was just not fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. We had a banger lined up if that was the win.
They will have to wait.
Oh, we'll have to wait. We have to rain check.
We'll have to rain.
Bad weather today. We have to rain check.
We will have to rain check that one, indeed. Kale is behind the ones and twos producing the show. Later in the show, we're going to be bringing in Brendan Vogt live from Crypto.com Arena. Stay tuned for all of that. Let's get into a fast breakdown real quick. I didn't take many notes tonight. The game kind of mirrored every other one all the way up until the end. Very offensive start to the game for both teams.
Yep.
And then an even more offensive start by the Denver Nuggets. You thought this would be the night where it was like, oh, they're going to slam the door and take their souls. And the Nuggets were like, maybe they'll give it to us.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll give it to us, Maybe we'll just take this one, It'll come to us. It did not in the first quarter. Second quarter, LeBron James went down to the post a lot. A very noticeable, in my opinion, adjustment from him to say, oh, okay, Aaron Gordon can guard me sometimes there. Peyton Watson, Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, those guys cannot. Goes down to the post, and he was on a revenge tour in that second quarter.
It worked all game.
The Nuggets challenged the Nuggets had a lot of turnovers in this game, too, especially early on, sloppy ones. And then they challenged a turnover, and what I hated about this, they lost it. What I hated about it is a coach should never challenge an unnecessary turnover.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't care. A bad call happens when you get sloppy, and even if it's a bad call, I'm not going to give it to you. Instead, they challenge it. Murray wanted the challenge. They challenge it, lose, and now you don't have a challenge.
That's a challenge you just can't lose.
You can't lose that one, yeah. Because it wasn't even that important of a play. It was like, oh, we got sloppy and turned it over. Can we have the ball back?
Very high-risk, low-reward challenge.
Austin Reeves also started getting it going in that second quarter. It was 61-48 Lakers at half. And you're like, all right, third quarter, it is time. My first note, Jokic playing terrible. I don't know what happened to him in that third quarter. We expect him to turn it on. Down 15, timeout. Jokic hits back-to-back threes out of that timeout. First one and then another one in the corner. And they started to make a run, but they couldn't clear the boards. Denver actually got stops during that run, but they didn't get rebounds. So the stops didn't complete. And the Lakers got back-to-back second-chance three-point shots. And those are especially backbreakers. 91-80 Lakers going into the fourth quarter. Nuggets got a 4-0. There were so many moments where the Lakers had to call timeout or they got nervous because it was like Denver cuts it to 11 with 8:36 and had some momentum. But then Murray grabs his leg going to the timeout. Looks like maybe he's a little bit hurt. KCP gets a wide open three that I think cuts it to like 7 points, hits the side of the backboard, and they were down 15 with 7 minutes to go. Denver made some shots. They did some stuff, but you're down 15 with 7.5 to go. If you come back and win it, we'll talk about it. If you make little half comebacks, we're not going to talk about it. So guess what? That's
We're
the end
not
of the
going
recap.
to talk about it.
Nuggets kind of get blown out tonight. It's their worst playoff loss since 2022. Dev, let's get to our red hot roving big takeaways. What's yours?
Well, my first takeaway is a question. Was 12 wins in a row too much to ask for?
It was
Was it
apparently.
too much to
No,
ask for?
it wasn't.
Apparently.
No, absolutely not. It was not.
All they needed was one more. That was not only were the Nuggets out of rhythm, but they're just out of the norm. Guys that you see and typically stand up did not stand up. Denver didn't go to their bread and butter in that game. I do think that there's some questions that you have to ask Malone on how he's going with these rotations. And you just need more. This was an uncharacteristic type of loss for Denver, and the worst part is the Lakers didn't play desperate. The Nuggets just didn't want it enough. So you need them to answer those things and just play completely different come Monday.
I think there was a little desperation out of the Lakers tonight. I don't think they played like world beaters or it wasn't the best, but I thought they might lay down. I don't think they laid down tonight, and there were guys that seemed to care like they wanted to get this one. Nonetheless, it was right for the taking.
Definitely. My big takeaway I put online, I thought the Nuggets played very lazy and very arrogant. Their approach was lazy and arrogant. They just didn't, they sort of mirror. It's one thing for us and for Nuggets Twitter to act that way, and frankly, to that point, we were allowed to, we were earned it. But it's another thing for the Nuggets to come out and play with that fashion, just assuming a victory, assuming they would turn it on, just being, I just hated the approach from so many players. I hated how Jamal Murray played this game. I was disappointed by Jokic's approach in a lot of this game. Really everyone but Michael Porter Jr., frankly. Aaron Gordon was largely invisible during this game after being an absolute monster the game before.
He left it all in Game 3, I feel.
Apparently so. It's nothing changes in my mind about who the Nuggets are and what this series looks like, but I hope that this is a thing where you can only hope that this humbles them a little bit and then it locks them back in, because there's really nothing good to take from a performance like this.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's not a whole lot of good stuff to be mined. Harrison?
I agree with D-Line. I thought they played arrogant tonight. They played the same way they kind of did in the first 3 games of this series. And it looked like the Nuggets were just expecting the Lakers to hand them this game. They were hanging around, and then it got to a point in the second half where Denver looked like they just were hoping the Lakers gave up.
Yep.
And they didn't. And I don't know what the Nuggets are doing on offense in this series. They've looked out of rhythm all series except the second half of Game 2 on the offensive end of the floor. It seems like lately getting the ball to Nikola Jokic in the post has been an afterthought.
Right.
It's something Denver has rarely looked to do. I have no idea why. And defensively, they left a lot to be desired again tonight. Denver gave up 70-plus points in the paint again. It didn't seem like the Nuggets really adjusted all game defensively. The Lakers were beating them in the second half in the fourth quarter the same way they were beating them in the first half, getting into the lane, LeBron coming from the weak side or the strong side on that baseline and just being wide open. And, if I had to single out anybody, it'd be Jamal Murray for these first 4 games. Did you know Jamal Murray hasn't shot above 40% in a game yet this series?
It's unreal.
4 games against the Lakers so far. He's shot in the 30s every single game. 9 of 24, 9 of 24, 8 of 21, 9 of 23.
Almost the same game,
He's
honestly.
been incredibly consistent, but consistently mediocre.
But it is a good defensive backcourt, am I not mistaken?
It's D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves.
Austin Reeves has been
Those guys?
Austin Reeves has been playing his ass off defensively. I have to say,
That
truly.
shouldn't matter. That shouldn't
really
matter.
hasn't.
Jamal Murray's a way better player than
He
he's
has
shown.
been. You could acknowledge Austin Reeves has been
But playing hard? Is it Murray's good against guys?
It shouldn't
as long
matter
as they don't
against
play hard.
Austin Reeves, no matter how
It's Austin
hard he's
Reeves.
playing.
Well, I know he needs to raise his level, but I'm just saying you can at least acknowledge that the Lakers are playing well. He should rise above it, but yes.
Jamal Murray in the playoffs just has to be better. He has to run his team better. He's got to search out higher quality shots if he's not going to hit the shots he's taking at a good enough efficiency. And, the Nuggets just haven't looked like themselves for most of this series, and that continued tonight.
Mine is right in line with Harrison. In fact, I was even going to bring up similar numbers. Fellas, in 20 games last playoffs, how many times do you think Jamal Murray shot below 37.1%?
0.
2 times. 2 times out of 20.
Were they both in the
Out
finals?
of 20.
One was in the finals, and they won. And another one was against Phoenix when they won.
Yeah.
I think game 2 against Phoenix. He's done it every game. 4 games. So already you go last year out of all of that, he only had 2 games, at least shooting-wise. I'm not saying good or bad play, but at least shooting-wise, he only had 2 games that were that low. This year already 4 for 4. And it would be one thing if I felt like, look, the Denver Nuggets were up 3-0. If we weren't talking about this last game, we shouldn't make too big of a deal of it this game.
Right.
Just because they're up 3-1. And I actually think that we stay grounded. But people keep asking me, what's your concern level? I'll get to that in a second. 1 out of 10 still, and I'll explain why. But my concern level for Jamal at least goes up. And Jamal obviously has so much of this, because I agree. We're getting good contributions most of the games from KCP and Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter. Jokic has been pretty good, although we'll talk about him tonight. Murray really, outside of that fourth quarter against the Lakers in game 2, it's kind of been the exact same story. Not even like, a little bit different here and there. It's been the exact same one. And the fact that he did not do it at all last year, and the fact that if we game theory this out, next round is almost certainly the Minnesota Timberwolves. Jade McDaniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker are 4 times better than Austin Reeves, even when Austin Reeves is trying.
Yes.
If you go past that, either Lou Dort or any of the defenders on the Mavs and Clippers, better than Austin Reeves, even when Austin Reeves is trying. And if you get to the finals, you get a Drew Holiday, Derek White combo, better. This is by far the easiest it should be for Jamal Murray. By far. And he's not beating guys off the dribble. He's looking a little tired. And then tonight to grab his leg the way he did, maybe it's injury, maybe it's not. Just I would have loved to have seen something from him. And to me, it's really concerning that through 4 games, the only time we saw it was in a fourth quarter run, which is great. Yeah. But it was like such a small, it was 5 minutes of great play, basically. Yeah. That's the only time we've seen it in an enormous sample size.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's just us that is concerned about this. I think that the Nuggets are concerned about this. This was a negative side quest type of game. I feel like they went out of their way to try to get Jamal Murray going, and they have been doing this lately because they're seeing the same thing that we're seeing. He doesn't have the wiggle. He's not getting to his spots. He's not, playing with the same type of confidence, especially when we see him ascend in the playoffs. And it's led to them getting into these holes that they have to overcome. It's led to them not having any type of rhythm offensively, and then him taking the most amount of shots on the Nuggets. There should be no game in the playoffs that he's taking the most shots. They have a guy that should be, running the offense through him. They have a guy that they should give it to for them to take all of the shots. Jamal should be Robin. Yeah. They already have Batman. You don't need another guy. He's the number 2, so he should, do that and have his moments where he can lead them, where he can be that guy. You want him to get back to that, and right now, how he's moving, how he's playing, that is a level of concern right now. He has to get it going.
Jamal Murray is scoring fewer points per game in the playoffs on worse efficiency than Franz Wagner. Fewer points on worse
Franz Wagner.
Fewer points and worse efficiency than Miles Turner. Like, that's like wild, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. Josh Hart.
And I agree with Dev. It seems like a big focus for Denver in the first quarter of these games, it's not to establish Nikola Jokic.
Right.
And make the defense adjust from there and find your rhythm from there. It's to establish Jamal Murray. We saw them try to establish him in the post in game 3. That didn't really work. They tried to establish him early in game 4 tonight, and he did have some good moments in that first half. Murray actually had a decent first quarter, I thought, but just couldn't keep it going from there. And like my other big takeaway that I hit on a little bit is just that the offense hasn't looked like the Nuggets offense.
Yeah.
It hasn't been running with the same crispness, the same rhythm. They haven't been getting the same high quality of looks I feel like that they have throughout most of the season. And they shot 30% from three tonight. You know, they got some open looks, but they shot 30% from three. It's pretty much what they have been shooting from three throughout the series. They shot 18% from three in Game 3 the other night, 23.5% from three in Game 2, 36% from three in Game 1. Most of that was in the second half. And it's like, when you're not playing with rhythm, when you're not, like, connected, I'm not surprised that those threes aren't falling, because those threes fall when, you know, you are in a rhythm, when you are playing healthy offense. And Denver just they haven't looked as comfortable as I thought they would throughout this entire series.
A lot of that comfort on offense comes from the Jokic-Murray two-man game,
Right.
which has not been phenomenal. Oh, I was throwing it to break, Kale. Where did we go? Isn't it time? All right, let's take our first break, because on the other side, we'll talk about the other half of that duo, Nikola Jokic. We actually haven't discussed him too much. We were talking about Jamal. I'm curious what the panel thinks about Jokic on the other side.
Guys, if you like beer, if you're a beer lover out there, check out the
I can go for
Pub Pass.
12.
Do you have one?
We all know there's not a better place in the country to be a beer lover than Colorado. There's no better place if you're a beer lover than on the Pub Pass. They've got a buy one, get one, $1 even free beer offer at more than 300 breweries in the greater Denver area. So you can take advantage of this at tons of breweries across Colorado and in the greater Denver area. That deal refreshes 30 days after you use them, so you can come back again and again. Plus, you get access to the entire country with the same subscription. $5 a month. That's it. $5 a month for the Pub Pass. It pays for itself the first time you use it. An absolute no-brainer. DNVR fans can get a one-year subscription for half off. Using the promo code DNVR, that's a year of access to the best craft beer app in the country for about $2 a month. Download the Pub Pass today in the App Store or the Google Play Store. Use code DNVR when you sign up. Also, check out Bet365. Never ordinary. Did we do okay on our bets tonight at least, Duff?
Yeah, sadly we did good. Real good.
Sadly.
I know,
Really
I kind of wanted to do bad tonight.
Yeah,
To
like
feel worse, just to sit in my own feelings.
I know, dude.
do
Sit
bad,
with-
and then it's like, yeah, they didn't do it because they won everything. That would have been great.
Bet365, we're launching a really cool, well, it's been launched, but we have a new 6-week giveaway going with Bet365. Each week that you participate, you're eligible to win a bigger and bigger prize. You got to participate each week, though, to win the big prize, the grand prize. You can be on a podcast here at DNVR. You can attend a Broncos or Avs practice with Todd Davis or Eric Lacroix. How cool is that? To do that, though, you got to deposit $10, a minimum of that. Screenshot that, send it to promo@ddnvr.com. You'll be registered to win that grand prize then. Head to ddnvr.com/bet365 for more info. Bet365, never ordinary, must be 21 plus and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
You want to know what's crazy? I forgot one other guy who is scoring more points per game than Murray in the playoffs.
I'm scared to hear
on
this.
better efficiency.
I'm scared, man.
Michael Porter Jr.
Well,
that's
not surprising based on what we've watched.
That's a little wild, though, that 4 games into a series, the third or fourth option is actually ahead of him. But Mike's been playing great. Like, as bad as much as Murray's been bad. Mike's shooting, what was it, 58%? Let me see if I get this right. Yeah, 53%, including 44% from three. He was great. We'll get to him in a second. The other half of the Jokic-Murray duo is Nikola Jokic, who went for tonight for 33 points, 14 rebounds, 14 assists on 50% shooting, 40% three-point shooting, 100% free throw shooting. He had 3 turnovers, 1 steal, 1 block.
Those numbers are disgusting.
Incredible.
Incredible numbers.
And yet, I feel like when you said they couldn't get him in the post, I think they got him in the post a few times. He didn't seem like he wanted it. He would dribble out and then try to do the handoff game. So I'm going to throw to you, Dev. I'm curious what you thought about Jokic's night tonight, because that stat line is Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, I think it was like a mixed bag type of game. When you look at the stats, you're going to say he had a monster game. But it was the impact. Like, it was just a different type of Nikola Jokic tonight. And also, what separates him from everyone else in the world is he's on top of the world. He's the best player. Tonight, he was not the best player on the court, and you hate that. He's not going to, in the post and just destroying Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is starting to get hope. He's starting to feel like he's in the same stratosphere with him, and he's not. I feel like a lot of the early game is trying to get Jamal or other guys going because we know we're going to get this from Jokic. Jokic also knows we're going to get this, but to be able to advance, you're going to need these other guys to come along. You're going to need Jamal Murray to get back into it. So I think that he's kind of sacrificing himself for the betterment of the team, but it's also hurting him right now. So you just want him to like settle in and just get back to just owning the Lakers, owning Anthony Davis. I just feel like you didn't get that tonight, and you want that.
Yeah, like to me, I don't look at it as him sacrificing. I mean, to hear those statistics, you're like, Jesus Christ.
It's probably never been done before.
Yeah, it's probably like but he looked kind of lackadaisical at times. He looked kind of slow and lazy like everybody else. And he did not have a good defensive game at all.
No.
Terrible.
A terrible defensive game, in fact. And, these are the moments when, I mean, granted, it's, we're talking about a game where the Nuggets are now, it's 3-1. This is not a do or die situation, but you would love for Jokic to just come in and just slam the goddamn door. Like, there was a long, like, for most of the fourth quarter, he'd had like 2 shot attempts, and he just wasn't in takeover mode. You hate that you have to rely on that, especially because you can't rely on Jamal Murray clearly to fill that role every night. But he didn't look up to filling it either. I don't know. This is a game where it's like going to be easy to overreact to a lot of stuff because it is really frustrating. It's just frustrating. This is a frustrating game because we just wanted it. There's nothing in this game that says the Nuggets should absolutely win. This is a classic game that a team would lose in the NBA. You're on the road. The pressure has been completely let out of the situation. They don't feel it at all. The Lakers feel all the pressure. So I'm not surprised at the outcome. I mean, it's just gross. Like, there's just a lot of stuff you're like, man, that just wasn't, you guys just didn't do good enough. You just didn't give effort. And I don't want to get too angry about it and, like, act like it colors their personality or their character or their who they are as a player, but like I didn't like what I saw in anybody, including Jokic, even with that stat line.
I like what I saw in Mike, but we'll get to him in a second.
Yeah.
How do you dissect Jokic?
He let the defense dictate. He let the Lakers defense dictate how the Nuggets played tonight, I thought. Because you're right, they did get the ball to him in the post several times, but he didn't look to establish that, and he didn't look to score there. He pretty much was in a mode of like, okay, I'll wait for the Lakers to send a double team. I'll dribble out of it. I'll find a teammate. But it was like too slow, and the Lakers defense was able to recover when that happened. We've seen teams try to double Jokic in the post before, but in past playoff series, we've seen him be aggressive enough where he's looking to score before that double team's able to get there. Or he's looking to be the aggressor in those situations. He just looked too passive in those moments tonight. He'd get the ball in the post, the Lakers would double, and he'd just be cool passing it out to the open man right away. In game 1, I even felt like he was more aggressive in looking to attack, through those double teams, around those double teams, dribble out of it a little, and find the open man from there. Tonight he just kind of accepted that double team and passed it to the open guy right away. So he kind of played into the Lakers' hands, I felt like, defensively, and he just didn't push the issue enough. Like, this game was hanging in the balance, like most of these games have been hanging in the balance in moments in those third quarters, and I feel like he could have grasped this game by the horns and like taken control of it, and he just didn't.
I have so much trust in Jokic that him not being aggressive, it feels like there's probably a reason that I don't understand behind it. You know what I mean? Like, it seems deliberate the way he is not going down to the block and working on him. But at the same time, I always say that the team matches his energy more than any other player on the roster. When he's like got a pep in his step, the team has a pep in his step. And tonight he just didn't. And it's wild to me that he can put up 33, 14, and 14. He for real might be the GOAT.
He is the GOAT.
So, for real might be the GOAT because 33, 14, and 14, and I still feel like he left a lot on the table.
Like an unbelievable stat line.
I mean, there's honestly, I think there was only 4 or 5 players ever to put up that stat line. I think I just saw something like that. But again, that's not the whole story, especially with Jokic. Let me see. 4 players. Oscar, Westbrook. Nope, 3 players. Oscar, Westbrook, and Jokic 3 times.
Oh, my God.
So as cool as that is, though, we still judge Jokic according to himself, and it just feels like he could have ended the series tonight.
Yeah.
It feels like he could have done that with a little bit more assertion, especially early on, tone setting. And then coming out of that half, my note about Jokic being so bad, it wasn't that he was terrible in the first 5 minutes of the third quarter. It was that he wasn't good. And it just felt like the sense of the moment, it just felt like there were flashing lights on the screen saying, it's time, it's time. And it just wasn't, for him, it wasn't time.
Yeah.
This didn't feel like he played in like a playoff game, you know?
That was my note. It felt like a November game. This whole
Right.
game just had a
Exactly.
casual rhythm to, even with like 11 minutes to go and Denver was trying to make a run, walking the ball up the court,
And
set
it's
the
how
offense.
all of these games have seemed. And
Yeah.
that's the overall theme of this series for me so far. The Nuggets have not looked like themselves. They have not played a good game yet. They have not played a game to the level that they played, any game in like the first couple rounds of last year. And that is frustrating because, they're still heavy favorites to win. They could blow out the Lakers in Game 5. But if they play like this against Minnesota, they're going to lose.
Yeah, but even looking at this, do you think they play like this against Minnesota? You've beat this team 11 times in a row. Does that go into like a mental, you talk about the mental edge.
It probably does.
Does that go the opposite way of like, hey, we already know what this is. We're very familiar with what they're going to do. There's not many things that, we could throw at them. There's things that they could throw at us. But I do think that when you've played somebody that you're so familiar with so many times, and it doesn't matter if you have a good game, it doesn't matter if you have a bad game, you're still going to win. I think that does something for you mentally as well.
I agree. It probably absolutely does.
I do think that, I'm not saying that there's like not a switch, but of course, if they play that game against Minnesota, they're going to lose. They would do that against any team in the playoffs right now. But will they play that type of game? And also, is this the wake-up call that they sadly needed? Because it's like, oh, okay, we're not immortal. We can lose to this team.
And this is why I said my concern level is still a 1 out of 10. Part of this, it's twofold. Part of this is, like, I don't know how revealing this first round will be about next rounds. Denver has always been a team that does enough to get the job done, and little more. There's very few feel-good series. One of the rare feel-good series was last year's Lakers, where they just so clearly wanted the sweep that they brought it all 4 games. This year, they almost got that, but it's clear that sense of desire hasn't been there. So I look at that and I go, Denver needs to close out the series, but whether it's pretty or ugly to me almost doesn't matter. If they would have won tonight, if say like the fourth quarter just bounces a little bit differently and they won tonight, but everything else was the same, I don't know that we would be feeling better about it. We'd still say they didn't look themselves. When it does matter, if they don't look like that, immediately that'll be the story. But if Jokic's taught me one thing, it's live in the present.
Yep.
And the present is they're up 3 games to 1. Have not looked great, but worry about that when it gets here because it might not matter.
They've coasted through 4 games this series.
Yeah.
They've won 3 of them. Like, that's how good they are. They can coast through 4 games and almost sweep a series.
So we'll see. We'll see there. Let's talk about Michael Porter. I'll tell you this.
Yeah, he was great.
The Nuggets, all the Nuggets players, Jokic brings it almost every night, but certainly has nights where you wonder why he's not more aggressive. Murray, very inconsistent. KCP brings it a lot. Aaron Gordon brings it a lot, but not every night. Michael Porter might be the most consistently competitive player. Not that he always plays great, but I think Mike's will to win is always there. Like, he always plays hard, and he always gets... I think Mike likes basketball more than anyone else on the Nuggets, and it shows in the way he plays, in my opinion. Do you agree with that? He always competes.
Yeah, I might. He does always compete. He competed tonight. I loved how Michael Porter played tonight.
Me too. He was a +4, by the way.
27 points, 10 of 20 shooting, 4 of 11 from 3. Not great there, but he got on the glass, 11 rebounds.
Also not terrible, 4 of 11.
Yeah, not terrible. +4, yeah, the only starter in the positives.
Only player.
Only player, wow. He was good, and I loved his effort. He got on the floor for a couple loose balls, came up with 50-50 balls
He
tonight.
sure did. He sure did.
You can't say that about every other starter. I loved how he played. I loved how he competed. I loved the effort he gave. Michael Porter throughout this series has been very consistent. you know what you're getting from him. And I think that's like a huge positive storyline for Denver.
Yeah, he played hard in this one, and he's been playing like this. You just talked about it. It's the consistency for Michael Porter Jr. It's not just shooting the basketball. He had 27 points, 4 of 11 from deep. He's getting to his spots. He's grabbing every board. He's a double-double right now. He has to be averaging a double-double in this series. And you talk about those things, like the getting on the floor, the running the break, the trying to stop somebody on a fast break. It's not just a mental game with him. And I felt like that was like lapses in last year where you just was like, hey, he's a little too lost to play out there. He's the only player on the Nuggets in a positive. How many times have you ever? I don't think that's ever happened. But that's just like him coming into his own. That's him coming into a rhythm. He wanted this one. And he seemed to be the only player that was still locked in of like, hey, I'm just going to give it my all. I don't care if we're down. I don't care if we're up. I'm going to play my game. It was great to see him have another good game because you want him to keep feeding off of that.
Yeah. It's a continuation from sort of like the last quarter of the season. Like Mike found something, maybe a purpose, maybe, I don't know. And, just to reiterate, like we just didn't know what we were going to get out of him coming into these playoffs because of things off the court. And it's just like, Michael Porter Jr. has clearly, something has changed in him, because you couldn't always say that he was the one bringing the effort. That was not generally a refrain that we were all, outside of Vogt.
50-50 balls are not his thing, and he even got those tonight.
Yeah, but he has... It's changed. Like he's stepped up, and it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating that there's one guy.
I know.
Whatever. But yeah, good on Mike, man. Good on him.
Aaron Gordon put so much into last game that I feel like it was kind of predictable that he would be a little low energy. But here's the thing, man. Next game's in 46 hours. Next game tips off here. It's almost a little bit more, 46 hours, a little bit less than that, 10 minutes less than that. So it's a quick turnaround. You got to travel back. Like, the fatigue doesn't go away this series. If you close out on Monday, you probably don't play till Saturday or Sunday again, so you get like a full 4 or 5 days, which to me is enough. That's perfect if Denver can do that. But if you don't, you play again on Thursday, and you might have to, even if you win Game 6, which would be on the road, you would probably turn around and play on Sunday in a whole new series. Are you going to be prepared for that? It's going to be a home game. So in some weird way, I'm not calling it a must-win in Game 5, but the odds of Denver winning a title would probably change a meaningful number if they were to lose on Monday. I don't think they do because of this game. In fact, in a lot of ways, it mirrors last year. How many games did it take last year? They go up 3-0, they lose Game 4, and they close out. There is something to, I do think there's a similar rhythm to that, but Aaron Gordon looked a little tired tonight. Jokic looked a little tired tonight. Murray looked a little tired tonight, and that's a big storyline for me.
Yeah, Nikola Jokic is the Nuggets' best player. Jamal is their, most pivotal player because of the impact. Aaron Gordon is the most important player, especially in this series. This is how you could tell that this game was a bit different than the other ones. They were using him in the other games of, hey, Anthony Davis is going off. Let's go put him on Anthony Davis. Or LeBron is starting to get, a groove or a rhythm. Let's go put him on LeBron. In this game, they both went off because of the energy was not there, because he didn't have that same spunk that he's been having. And you want that to go back. Their next game is in less than 48 hours. So he is going to have to be ready for that moment. You want him to rest up. You want him to get back to grabbing all the boards. You want him to get back to, playing that hard-nosed defense and being that X factor / weapon for the Nuggets. So yeah, he was really needed in this game, and you can see how important he is to this team when he does not have those type of games that go unspoke about. Like, you don't really talk about those things, but when it's not happening, these are the type of outputs you get.
Just 3 rebounds for Aaron Gordon tonight, and Denver got out-rebounded 46-40. And I'll tell you what was also weird. Maybe I'm wrong about this, let me know. But in Game 2, when the Nuggets made that comeback, they put, Aaron Gordon on Anthony Davis, KCP on LeBron, and part of that was, Rui Hachimura was closing that game, was playing a ton of minutes. He only played 22 minutes tonight.
Yeah, Taurean Prince has replaced him, which is probably the right move. I'm not saying it's going to make a huge difference, but I do think it's their best chance.
Right. And in that second half of game 2, the Nuggets put Jokic on Hachimura, and that really changed things. Like, Denver didn't adjust at all tonight, it seemed like. They didn't adjust those defensive matchups, and the Lakers just kept going to their same bread and butter over and over and over again, getting into the lane, hitting LeBron on the cut, or finding Prince or an open shooter. And, like, Gordon, you didn't feel him defensively in the same way you felt him that second half of game 2 and, like, in parts of game 3.
I think that is the counter for LA, though, is to take Hachimura off, because that's a guy Yoke can guard. I mean, look, Taurean Prince is probably not going to kill you, but
he's
he does
a better shooter. He's a little more. He moves around a little bit more. You can beat you off the drives a little bit more.
More of a straight line driver on closeouts too. So yeah. But I mean, Denver's going to have to now adjust to that, which I'm sure they will, because I just don't feel like that's a definitive. There are some adjustments that happen where you're like, oh, that's going to be challenging now. I look at that one and I go, Denver should be able to get there. Nonetheless, it's probably going to be Yoke on Anthony Davis much more often than not. All right, let's take a break on the other side. Keep this rolling and talk about the bench, which is also a major story tonight.
Ooh, boy, oh boy.
Shout out to our friends over at Red Hawk Roofing. I don't know if they were here at the bar tonight, were they?
No. I think they were in L.A.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
in
that's
LA.
right. They flew to L.A. That's how diehard fans they are.
The Nuggets, Jamal Murray owes Red Hawk Roofing a flight back.
He owes them a roof.
He owes them a roof, man.
They have to
go do his roof.
They have to do his roof now.
You hear that, Jamal? Come on. Call him up.
Yeah, he at least owes him a
I don't
free.
even care if he needs a new roof. They have to do his roof.
Yeah, they just have
He at least he owes him a free estimate.
Yeah, he gets that anyway. Free estimate, free no obligation roof and property inspection with Red Hawk Roofing, free in-depth photo reports for all inspections, quality materials, decades of experience, quick response time. They are Colorado's best estimators and contractors. If you're looking for a new roof over your home or business, Jamal Murray, be sure to check out redhawkroofing.com. Just tell them DNVR sent you. I'm sure they'll be back here at the bar. Maybe they'll be at the game for Game 5 on Monday. But we love Red Hawk Roofing. They're great at what they do. They really care about their customer service. Hit them up. They're the best roofers around. Also, check out Premier Members Credit Union. The thing about Premier Members Credit Union is they are very customer service based as well. They're not a bank. They're a financial institution based right here at Colorado. And the thing about PMCU, they're local branches, local friendly tellers. They have the tools to help you save smarter, like their reverse tier money market. Whatever goals you have financially, Premier Members Credit Union, they can help you reach those goals as well. They have a new high-yield savings account. You can earn 5% APY on your first $2,000 with their reverse tier money market too. Hit them up today. They're an organization that serves the community and the Colorado community in particular. When you become a new member at PMCU, you'll get $200 just like that. You just have to open a checking account and sign up for e-statements. It's that easy. This will be your best money move yet. Head to becomepremier.com to find out more.
The Denver Nuggets bench here, back here, segment 2. Throw us a like. It's not our fault they lost.
I mean,
Don't take it out on us.
I know. People are taking it on us a little bit, but
Are they taking it out on us? What did we do?
they didn't. It's what you do.
That's all right. Well,
You hurt the ones you love.
You know what? It is true. Throw it all at us. What do we care? The bench tonight combined for 5 points. 3 of those were Justin Holiday. Remember he hit that 3 and we were like, all right. Then he took 2 more shots in the next 2 possessions. He got 3 shots up in 5 minutes and it was all in a row. Peyton Watson had 2 free throws. That was it from your bench. Now, Denver didn't play their bench very much. Series goes on. Malone trying to close this out. Starters a little bit more minutes. But Reggie Jackson was hurt tonight. Still played through it. 0 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Christian Brown, 0 of 2. His shot has not been there in this series, nor has his defensive effectiveness. And Peyton Watson tonight did have 2 blocks, but 0 of 3 from him, including 2 threes. And I thought both of the threes were sort of unnecessary.
They were.
They were a little bit like, all right, I want you confident in taking open shots, but not like semi-open. Nonetheless, how concerned are you with this bench?
Mildly concerned. And the guy I'm probably most concerned about after this game is honestly Christian Brown. Because it feels like he's lost some of the confidence that he had, in the first couple games of this series. Tonight, there was that sequence with him and Aaron Gordon where they passed it back and forth like 3 times, and neither one of them wanted to shoot. And Aaron Gordon finally shot it and made it. But I don't feel like Christian played with like the decisiveness and the confidence that he played in, in games 1 or 2 or even, 3. And, just 12 minutes for Christian Braun tonight. He's got to be better enough to play more than 12 minutes. He's got to play more than 12 minutes in a game. Denver needs him to soak up some of those Bruce Brown minutes from last year. And he didn't do that tonight. He just got to find that confidence again. The three-point shot, I don't have any confidence that those are going in right now. And that was one of the real positives about his season. He shot it, 37% from 3 during the regular season. He really came on over the second half of the year. I have no confidence in those threes going in right now. I really don't.
Yeah, it's tough. This is just a rough stretch. It's easy to look at tonight's game and then say it's been they've been bad, but we've been impressed with them though. This is the first time we've called them out. They were terrible tonight. The bench was terrible. 5 points for the bench as a unit is just unacceptable. Peyton Watson was atrocious on offense. He still comes with the defensive effort. He got some blocks tonight. He really goes after everything. But I don't know. It's just gross effort, man. Gross effort. I didn't have any confidence. I'm now cringing when he's shooting threes, which I hate.
It's weird because you built up, I built up confidence in his three-point shooting in the regular season.
Yes.
I've lost it, though, right now.
But that's
definitely.
the difference, right? Regular season and playoffs.
Yeah.
If a guy... I would put it as both of those guys are capable of making some shots in the regular season. But the playoffs, there is a compounding effect that a series has where a guy misses shots for 3 straight games. 'Cause I think Peyton made them in the first. He missed them in 3 straight games. You're like, I don't think he's making them from here on out.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned about the Nuggets bench, but I've been concerned about the Nuggets bench.
Good point.
Because it's been the same thing. Going into the season, you know what it was going to be. We just got to see a good Reggie early on. When Reggie became bad, that's when it was time to panic. Because it really puts Peyton Watson, it really puts Christian Braun in a horrible spot. Because you talk about that confidence, you talk about that rhythm, you're not going to get one if you're only taking 2 shots and you're expected to make those 2 shots. You're not going to get that when Reggie Jackson has been the backup point guard for the entire year and who you're running the offense through. And in the playoffs, he's only playing 9 minutes. He's pretty much getting played off the court because he's been so bad. So now you don't have a Christian Braun that, started to play the backup point guard to close out the season. So now he has no playmaking, abilities. You have a Peyton Watson who's really good defensively, but is not getting his, reps offensively. So it's hard to get himself going. They're bad right now because Reggie Jackson's bad right now. And you have too much, on his back for him not to be a good player, for him to not be, a two-way option, for him to be predicated on his offense. So you really do need Reggie Jackson to get himself going, and him getting hurt, him being older, him, expecting more minutes, that's nothing to be happy about because we don't know if that's going to change. It's not a good spot for them right now.
What about this one? The Nuggets' 3-point percentage right now, second worst in the NBA of the 16 playoff teams, only ahead of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it's only a fraction of a percent. 27.6%
And the
as a
Cavs
team.
scored 80 points in a playoff
They
game.
actually have been rough.
Dude, to me, this is honestly where this loss ultimately, I don't feel like the Nuggets played that differently than they played in any of these other games, but they hit no 3-pointers. It was atrocious from 3. Just, will they shoot 30%? I mean, just nothing. And you didn't have any confidence, totally out of rhythm the entire time. They got to start making some threes. I really expect them to in this next game, but it was bad tonight.
And you can't really rely on the bench to bolster that percentage that much. It's got to be the starters, and Jamal Murray is shooting from 3 this series. It's got to be in the 20s.
Yeah.
That's where it's got to start.
The 3-point shooting, and somebody put a comment on Twitter just now that I just saw, and I actually kind of like it. So this comes from hoopsfan__, aka Mr. Always Right, with a W. Always.
As in always Nick Wright.
Yeah, always Nick Wright. He says, what you're really missing is Jokic getting ready for next round. He knows his guys need to make open shots to win that Minnesota series again against the Trees. We do this as analysts all the time, and I think it's galaxy brains that players do not think about.
Of course
like
not.
a joke like, I could go win the series.
But I need...
But instead, I'm going to do this. I think that part is a little crazy. But what I do agree with is, I do think there is something to trying to establish the types of looks you're going to get throughout the series. And while I wish Jokic could ratchet it up a little bit more and maybe go at Anthony Davis, get him in foul trouble, do some more of that stuff, I do think that there's a number of things, actually really just two things that I think if they continued into round 2 or throughout the playoffs, or even even for the rest of this series, if they continue for them, Denver would be in trouble. And one is 26.5% from 3 as a team, and the other one is Jamal Murray. So the 3-point shooting to me is definitely something to kind of keep an eye on and something that I'm concerned about. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, let's wrap up by getting a final word from our homie Miroslav as he gets ready to head home to Serbia tomorrow. So we'll hear about him as we wrap up the trip and also get to your Super Chats.
Breckenridge Brewery is the official craft beer of DNVR, perfect for any occasion, a Nuggets win, a Nuggets loss. If you're hanging out at the DNVR Bar, if you're hanging out at a buddy's house, Breckenridge Brewery, try out some of our favorites, the Avalanche Amber, the Mile High City, the Broncos Country Pale Ale, the Funslinger Good Company Hard Seltzers as well. You can check out their beer locator, breckbrew.com. That will tell you exactly where to find Breckenridge Brewery. Just type in your zip code, brings up breweries near you or stores that have Breck Brew near you. So, Breck Brew, they've been doing it for almost 33 years. It all comes down to their love and passion for making good beer. Breck Brew, the official craft beer DNVR. Also, hit up the Game Time app if you need tickets to Game 5 on Monday at Ball Arena. It's going to be a hell of a crowd, I know. It should be the closeout game. I think it will be the closeout game. But you can use the code DNVR when you sign up at the Game Time app and create an account. You can get $20 off your first purchase. You can use that for Game 5. You can use that for the apps, playoffs, Rockies tickets this summer, concerts, shows, sporting events, whatever it might be. Terms apply. But if you create an account, use code DNVR, you get $20 off your first purchase.
We back?
Back.
Miroslav, you thought you were going to do it, didn't you?
First of all, you see, I don't have like the partisan
Yeah.
uniform anymore. I don't deserve it. like, sorry guys. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's not only my fault.
Yeah.
It's like 50% my fault.
Okay.
It's like 10% boy's dad's fault because he brought a broom with him
Yeah.
He
to
did
the
last
bar.
year and it worked.
Yeah, I know. He should have just changed maybe like the brand of broom.
Yeah.
And then like 40% is probably the Nuggets as well.
Yeah.
right?
it
I
might-
think they are to blame, the Nuggets.
yeah, it might be a little bit.
So yeah, but you know what?
What?
Is it time to turn the tables, like to be a bit more optimistic?
Oh,
like,
I think it is.
Please, we need
We
to be.
need some.
So this game, you know what this game is? It's a pebble in your shoe. Like you needed, they needed this game.
You don't need a pebble
I was
in your
going to
shoe,
say,
actually.
does one need a
No,
pebble
no,
in
no.
their
I think
shoe?
that
It's a
is-
reminder.
Kel, do you
the
need a
pebble in your shoe is a reminder that you need to take your shoe off,
Oh,
get
right.
that pebble out
true.
in game 5,
Okay.
True.
and just continue playoffs like a normal juggernaut of a team.
So
Yes.
what is, in this metaphor, what is the pebble?
The Lakers.
Oh,
They're
I
just
thought you were going to say it's
they're
points in the paint or
no,
three-point shooting.
it's just the annoying Lakers. Like
Okay.
it's like this small spectacle,
Speckle.
Speck.
in our Nuggets universe. It's like just get rid of it.
Just a
and
speck
like,
of dust.
let's just play like a real team like Minnesota.
All right.
And yeah.
And, all right. It's a good metaphor. That's some good optimism. Do we have any other optimistic takes about this? Like, because I do like segment 4, turning the page
Yeah.
here and being like, oh, more
Yeah, I
optimistic.
mean, this definitely has it wake up call potential for sure. I mean, maybe the Nuggets needed it. Like I said, like my takeaway from this series is they've coasted through 4 games. They're good enough that they won 3 of them. That's great. It wasn't good enough to sweep, but I definitely think there's potential for them to come back to Denver, Game 5, lock in. Nikola Jokic comes out aggressive for the first time in this series. Everybody kind of refocuses. Even the equipment staff, they get the shoes on the right bus this time to the arena.
Man. What are we doing?
Actually, the shoes will already be at the arena.
Hopefully.
Ideally. But no, there's definitely some wake-up potential here. And, like, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, maybe this is just what Denver needed. I mean, that's the optimistic take for sure, but I don't think that's something that's completely crazy.
Where's Dev going?
Throwback. Dev's going home.
He's leaving.
What is he doing?
Total
He's
throwback.
leaving the bar.
Hey, RK, what's Dev doing over there? What's Dev doing? Is he going home?
He's saying his
Well,
goodbyes.
Dev, what's going on? The show's still on, dude. What are we doing? Just cleaning up
the office.
He's just cleaning the studio, guys. He's just cleaning.
He's taking all the dishes down. He'll be back up here, though. He'll be
Dev,
back.
thanks, man. I got an empty bottle over here. If you're doing cleanup,
You want to talk about throwback?
some stuff over here.
We're back.
We're so back,
We're
baby.
so back.
This actually made me the most optimistic of anything.
We're so back.
We're so back. I think there's two silver linings I see to this. Two silver linings. One, you close out in Game 5. The "Who's Your Daddy" chant at Ball Arena is going to hit so hard. It might hit as hard
true.
as a sweep would have hit, honestly. That chant will be deafening should the Nuggets take care of business in Game 5. Number 2, I am still worried. Yes, I'm worried about Murray's health because grabbing the knee and just not having any pop. But you know what? As much as I said pregame, I don't believe that Murray needs a good game before going into the next round because every series is its own personality. And honestly, I don't think there's carryover. Murray to me does look like he could use another hard game. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying to get him in rhythm. Maybe it's to get him in shape. Maybe it's just to get something. Like, I would love if he had a medium game or any of that tonight. I would have not felt this way. But the fact that we haven't had it, one more chance for Jamal to come home, really feel those emotions. We know when Murray's feeling it. You can see a look on his eye when he has that look. We had it in Game 2 in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Outside of that, he hasn't had it, and I would just love for him to get a dose of that. Get a little shot to the heart of that adrenaline and be like, oh, that's right. That's what it feels like. I want it every game from here on out.
Yeah, he's got it. That is the true silver lining, and it's yet to be seen, is that this wakes the Nuggets up.
Yeah.
This wakes the Nuggets up. This gets them into that playoff intensity. We see like a truly like even, dominant, steady, effort-filled, energy-filled effort from the Denver Nuggets. Let's hope that we see it. We know that it's there. We just haven't had the requisite competition to have them feel like they needed to bring it out. I hope.
Right.
That's the way it seems. But that would be the silver lining, is that it like kicks them, it like gives them that shot, that smelling salt.
We didn't get dozen in a row, as I promised.
We got a soundboard dozen.
No, the triple dozen.
That was good.
A triple
Oh, the
dozen.
triple dozen.
We
Yeah,
got
yeah.
a triple dozen trademark.
Wait, we did get it.
Yeah, we did.
Oh.
Triple dozen, we got it.
That's right. He did call that, and we did get it. That's a good job.
I call it,
what?
we got it.
What'd
We
you
got
12,
a triple
12, and 12.
dozen.
Not a triple double, a triple dozen. We actually got a 33, 14, and 14.
I thought you were calling 12, 12, 12 exactly.
No. Triple
Like
dozen
Jokic's
is like
13,
over dozen.
13, 13 games
No,
from a couple
over
years
dozen.
ago.
Over dozen. Come on.
If he was honestly a 12, 12, 12 game would be very. The Nuggets lose that game.
Oh yeah.
Well,
That's not a good game.
that's a game where like Denver shoots 40+%
Yeah.
from three and could win.
I don't know. He had 14 assists tonight. That was not the case, but nonetheless. What are we going on?
Whatever.
But I digest.
Yeah, it's just that we got like one of the two things. One thing we did get is like 11 in a row against the Lakers is now called the Lakers dozen. This is not my idea, by the way. This is Andy Jewett, a comic from Denver. He came up
Stealing
with
this
the
from
Lakers
Andy Jewett.
dozen.
God.
11 wins in a row against the Lakers.
Is the Lakers dozen?
You know what?
Yeah.
That's such a good joke. I feel the basketball gods did this to us just
I
because it's
know.
so
Yeah,
funny. They're
just
like,
to
this
get
is-
to that joke.
Yeah, just to get the dad joke. Do we have vote?
Soon.
Are we sure he went to the game? We're positive.
The green screen of vote.
Did report that.
Hey, look who it is!
Never mind.
My good, the man with the
What's
boyish
up, fellas?
charm. Life on the road ain't easy, vote.
No, it's not. It's for the first time in forever. It's not a great day to be us. I don't even know what to do with my hands. I don't even know what to do with my hand. I'm excited to get back to Denver though, where magical and wonderful things happen. But for now, one more update from Los Angeles.
Any notes or perspective before you get to the locker room? Is there any notes or perspective from tonight that you got from the arena that we did not get on the broadcast?
You know, I can't give you too much. I mean, just the atmosphere felt very much like a Game 4 after 3 wins for the other team, and I think the Nuggets even played accordingly. This did not feel like a playoff game really at any point through 4 quarters, and I don't think Denver helped change that at all with their play. Maybe perhaps a wake-up call needed. Obviously, they'd rather win every game, but they can and should play better than they have so far, and tonight just felt like a culmination of a lot of bad habits, fellas, from a team that we know is much better than this.
I agree. All right, take us in the locker room.
Well, Michael Malone keyed in right away on the paint defense, saying, quote, "The paint was a joke." And he said to Katie, "I know you're in our huddles, and you probably heard me. I sounded like a broken record tonight. Every huddle, paint, paint, paint. We just did not come ready to play." The very first basket they scored was an open layup, and that set the tone for the entire game, Malone said. Unfortunately, ended up being an omen for things to come. I believe the Lakers finished with 72 points in the paint. Guys, it was just way, way too easy for Malone's liking, and he called out all of it. Transition, just blow-bys at the point of attack, really just a lackadaisical defense from the Nuggets, and it was too easy for the Lakers. And Malone then went on to talk about the slow starts. He said, look, that's 4 games in a row where we've lost the first quarter. And to close out a team, you can't play one half of basketball. You have to play 4 quarters. So, yes, there's no panic right now, but their challenge is that they know the Lakers aren't going to give it to them. They're a talented team. They played with more desperation and more urgency. Now, there were some questions about the warm-up situation in the slides. As you guys may have seen, the Nuggets shoes arrived much later than the players. There was a bit of a delay. And Malone said, look, I am not an excuse guy when asked a question about that. He said, that's a reach that we got our butts kicked in the paint because we couldn't warm up. And they said, look, our guys are a pretty honest group. I think they know it was not our best game. And it's really easy to stay together after a win. Much harder to stay together after a loss. But this is a really, really close group. We also heard from Michael Porter Jr., who echoed a lot of the same sentiments. He said tonight they just came out pretty nonchalant, and you can never do that in the playoffs. They did not come out with the right energy, Porter said, and then he tipped his cap. He said you got to give them credit. They've played well. They've been playing well for a lot of this series. And he said we wanted to close it out tonight. We knew they weren't going to roll over. And then we also heard from Porter on the warm-up situation, and he had a different perspective. He said, I actually was a little frustrated. My pregame routine is pretty important to me, but I know that everybody makes mistakes. Everybody's human, so I'm not too upset, but he did acknowledge it as a slight inconvenience. And then he said, to anyone wondering, we definitely don't want to come off like we're taking out anybody too lightly. We just didn't have our shoes. Then we heard from Jokic, who, again, echoed the fact that they got absolutely destroyed in the paint. He was asked if there's any frustration here with the inability to close this out. And in classic Jokic fashion, he shrugged and said, I don't feel bad. Like I said, they're a great team. We have another opportunity at home. And if we lose that, we have another opportunity at home. So we'll see. And finally, I asked him about the slow starts and if it's something that is controllable for Denver, maybe a credit to the Lakers, just the way these are shaken out, and if it's something they can get a hold of at home, at which Jokic said, look, I learned in horse racing, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, which was a great line, except then he went on to explain, well, we didn't really finish very well tonight either. But you get his point, fellas. They're just trying to win these games. They'll head back to Denver here. 2 more chances to do it in front of the home crowd.
I love the idea that very obvious platitude was not learned anywhere but horse racing. That was the only moment in his life where he was like, you know what?
You watch it on horse racing, he was
everyone's going to eat that up.
Actually, it's not about how you start.
I played a lot of basketball, but I didn't learn anything. What I learned, though, from horse racing is it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
You're right. I don't think horse racing gets to claim that expression. That applies to most of life, now that you point that out.
Feels like how you start horse racing is also pretty important.
It is. You do need to get off to a clean start. It is important.
But,
guys, he might just be far more media aware than we ever gave him credit for. You throw horse in there and it's a banger.
I hope not, man. I really hope not, because that would actually, you know what? I'm not saying it's a big one, But it is a little bit of a Giannis quote there. That's a little bit of a Giannis quote.
I think you're right. I think the best part is he absolutely hated my question, and he wanted to laugh at me while I asked it. But he gave me the quote of the night, so joke's on him.
You'd actually know whose fault this is. People don't know this. Vogt asked a very normal question of Michael Malone wearing a shirt today, and Michael Malone tried to berate him for no reason. It was a normal question. And you know
Normal question.
Then Mike comes out and they get blown out. You know, Nuggets, figure yourself out, man. Don't blame Vogt for this. Look at Vogt's hair, man. Look at that mustache.
Normal
you can set
question.
A watch to it. All right.
Find a new slant.
A key characteristic of Brennan Lamar, though, Jokic's top horse, always gets off to good starts.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's interesting.
I can't tell if he's doing the bit because I feel like he actually would know this level of detail. Get home safe.
All right, fellas. See you soon.
Later. That was a good little, report. I don't know, man. Yo might as well have said, I just tasted for the first time smoothie.
Yeah. Sucks. I hate tonight.
You know, guys, I'm really into horses, and what I've learned is you've got to rebound. You can't give them too many second chance points. Like, what? That seems a little forced. Miroslav, before we get to Super Chats, just wrap up your trip here. Was it any good?
It was pretty good. Like, it was like Curb Your Enthusiasm good. Like, it was...
like, Larry's life is pretty miserable, so...
Yeah.
In America, we usually do like a scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, it's 5+.
5+.
5+, no question asked.
5+, so we'll take it.
It's really like I really enjoyed this night. Also in the bar. Of course, it sucks when your team loses, but you know what? There's so many great people still downstairs. Like, I've had so many really nice conversations before I had to come back here and talk to you guys. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
sorry.
It's just a perfect how do you say it? Closing the circle. So we've started this circle many years ago, you can say so. But the first giant step was 18 months ago in Serbia when the whole DNVR crew came to Belgrade and Sombor to visit Nikola Jokic's homeland. And now I was maybe I've returned the favor just a bit from my side. And I can say now without hesitation that Serbs are famous for being great hosts. Coloradans equally or if not better. Wow. It's just like a perfect community we have here. I cannot be more thrilled about all the people I've been talking to in these 8 days. It must be 100 people, and it's just 5+.
I love that, man. It is one of those things where sports are so dumb and pointless until they're the most important thing in the world.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's totally, whenever you get to meet the people that we've been talking to online, see faces, familiar faces that we got to meet, 10 years ago, and you still get to sit around and have these experiences. It just makes it all so tangible and real. And even though the Nuggets lost tonight, we got 1,000+ people hanging out with us losers, just licking our wounds and stuff.
I know.
And it just makes it real.
I know. I'm glad a little bit that Miroslav got a little salt with his
That's
sweet.
True.
You know, it couldn't.
So
You can't go back to Serbia too smug.
What happened at our last day in Serbia?
You lost your flight.
Yeah.
Flight
right.
got canceled.
Yeah.
Flight got canceled. It was such a
After
bummer.
Nikola Jokic played one of the best games he ever has against
That's right.
Greece.
So there you go. And by the way, we caught what I would say is probably the single best game I've ever attended in person, with Jokic hitting the Sombor shuffle on Giannis. That's probably to this day the best game I've ever been to.
It's number one for me too, probably forever.
You know
But
what?
then he
Because it
attended
was,
what I
yeah.
would consider number 2 best game of my life, which was game 2 of the series.
The game that we went to in Belgrade was the number 1 because it's so unattainable. It's
You'll never
Greece
be able to
versus
recreate
You
that.
can never
Yeah.
recreate that. Nobody
Yeah.
we know got to experience that.
Right.
It was so singular, but that buzzer beater against the Lakers. My God, what a game! Although that game sucked until the end.
But you know what? Wow, him in the end. That's all. If you remember, the Serbia was down on Greece the whole time
Totally.
too, and then they had to come back.
So basically, both trips were imperfect. So that means
What
we
made them
need
perfect?
to do it again.
Let's do it again, man. To do that, we're going to need about 1,000 super chats. How many
That's
did we
true.
get, Kale?
That's true. It's super expensive.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Hey,
That's pretty good.
those are peak loser lounge numbers. I love it actually.
THTR 201. This one is on Sparky.
The equipment manager.
Sparky, the Nuggets equipment
He's been
manager.
there for 50 years.
I'm gonna guess it's not on him. There's no way he would have let this happen.
Bro.
It's definitely on somebody else.
Oh, you're right. This is.
He's too good to let this happen. Astray. We need to come out swinging and win Game 5, or else we lost all the momentum and talk becomes ending up on
come on.
the wrong side of history, blowing 3-0 with no positivity.
come on, Astray,
Either
come
winner,
on.
go back to Fraud City.
Wouldn't you
You're
say
going to
the
hear the
Nuggets?
talk for sure, but I mean,
Wouldn't
the
you-
odds are the Nuggets winning Game 5.
Wouldn't you say the Nuggets had all the momentum coming out of Game 3?
Yeah, and they lost.
And they lost. Momentum is not. Is
It
a.
would
is
be
a
pretty
force.
shocking if the Nuggets didn't win in Game 5. CJ Jones, it comes down to this. You, the fans, wanted the sweep. The Nuggets didn't need a sweep. The same thing happened last year. Sweeps are risky from an injury potential standpoint.
I like that. Like the Nuggets planned on doing this because they didn't want to get injured.
You know what? It is true though. Last year, if you recall, it's hard to remember because they did get the sweep in the third round, but we wanted it in the first round, and it was right there, and it felt meaningful because every series before that was 6 or 7 and a nail biter, and it was like we got this, and it was unsatisfying that they dropped the game and had to come back home and eked out Game 5. By the way,
Yep.
Yep.
But they just need to win one more.
Bigfoot Reeks. 3 stars have showed up in the series. LeBron, AD, and Jokic. Jamal Murray, a no-show outside of Game 2's fourth quarter. Wake up 2-7.
wake up.
5-5-5-5-5-ish. A silver lining is that MPJ has been playing out of his mind so far. If Murray finally steps up, like we all think he will, we will be unstoppable.
I actually
That sounds
agree
like the
with
Nuggets.
100%,
That sounds
man.
like the Nuggets.
The Nuggets are a great Jamal Murray game away from winning every one of these games by 20 points.
The engine of the Nuggets is the Jokic Murray 2-man game, and that has not been great so far. And it's 3-1.
It's been great.
It's not like they're missing one player; they're missing one half of their engine.
Yeah, but it's been good to close out every game. We just need Murray to play a complete game, please.
Kevin Barry, MPJ had a game tonight, finishing time at home.
Hell yeah! I love everybody giving MPJ love tonight. He
Best
deserves
deserves
player
it.
of the series, man. Like, on average, best player. I mean, it's Jokic, but you know.
I mean, Miroslav, you know, it's always
He did like
Jokic.
have triple
This
doubles.
is your rule. It's always
He
Jokic.
did have a triple
He's
double.
actually been better than Jokic tonight. even if you think about it.
Well,
Yeah,
Robert
more
George,
like-
bound to lose a couple. On to the next one. On to the next one, indeed. Has Jokic's screen setting for Murray been lazy?
No.
I don't think so.
Murray's been a little lazy getting around them.
Aki Kaki, when sea levels rise, will the Nuggets change their logo to like 5270?
You know what? Hell yeah, that random ass. Hell yeah. That's how you super chat a playoff loss.
The thing is
random
That's
ass.
right.
that's like funny, but like deeply
That's right.
apocalyptic.
That's so true.
Like we're losing most of major cities in the world.
we are losing Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? 5280, we're not really behind anymore. I'm all in on that super chat. A+.
We'll
That
just
was
call
a good
ourselves
super
the
chat.
remaining
5
city.
plus.
Yeah.
Also, Aki Kaki, first time I've ever seen that name.
Yeah. Logan Tussey. Has Jamal ever been so consistently miserable from 3? Can't remember the last one he made.
Yeah, in the season.
No, yes, his first 9 games of his career. Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
For like 30?
Hopefully he gets a few before T-Wolves. Love you guys.
Love you too,
man.
Logan.
Too, man.
Thank you. BPAL444, let it be known no one beats LeBron James 12 times in a row.
I know, but I wanted us to.
Winning at home is more fun anyway. Now I just hope Phoenix takes one too. Me
Well,
too, man.
I wouldn't put faith in that one.
Yeah.
That is a defeated franchise.
They are not Lakers.
No.
Rhodey, that sucked. Thanks for keeping things in perspective.
Yeah, man.
We try
Listen,
to.
like the chat has been a disaster tonight, and you know what? It's okay though. Get it out. Like,
That's so
get
true.
it out. That's the whole point
We
of this
are
thing.
like therapists.
We are like therapists. You don't go into when you go into your therapist session, you say some rough things, and you look
Especially
inside.
at the beginning.
You work it through. The people that are Lakers supporters, you are hilarious. But everybody else, work it out. Just work it out. It's okay.
And then at one point we just say, okay, that's all the time we have for today.
Yes. You just move on.
Man, I'm not going to say any names, but I did talk to somebody from PHNX,
Okay.
and after the loss last night, felt like a therapist. A lot of very angry things were being said there, and you know what? I get it. That is how we all feel after a loss. Now I feel that
Did we
way, and
do
I have
that
to
one?
give some expletives. No, we didn't get it.
I don't know if we did that last week, Cal. Tamer Tahir should double Braun in the post versus our bench while Dinwiddie's in. AG got to go under Braun sometimes, so the pass to AD isn't always there. Make Braun shoot when he's tired. Time for some adjustments.
Yep.
I mean, that's honestly part of this. Is I just feel like Denver was going to play this straight until they couldn't.
Did. They played it so straight tonight.
But because they kept winning. I mean, I get it. Like you don't adjust until you have to.
Game 2, they adjusted. RJ missing Bruce's energy production off the bench. I mean, absolutely.
They are missing Bruce's FU mental. I've said that.
Vicarious Gaming, no, not worried about Jamal. He is only at his best when things get tough. They got tough
Bright
late
light
in game 2, but really it's been pretty easy so far.
Bright light merchant Jamal.
Cedric Exquisite, we need Jamal to have a monster game, and we good. 40-30-30, make it happen. That'd be nice. Hashtag Project Dynasty, not tonight. Funny, I'm at work wearing my final shirt. Good night.
Let's go.
Good night, Cedric.
Good night.
Good night, sweet prince.
He'll probably have another super chat. The real Mr. Crispy, this team has been forged in the bubble of 3-1 deficits.
It's so true.
We do not crush teams, got to go down or got to be down or have it be close, and it always shows LFJ.
LFG. LFG. That's the first time I've ever heard somebody say forged in the, and not use the word crucible after that. Forged in the bubble. Forged in the bubble.
Super dope hip hop. Lakers lead in 80% of the series down 1-3. Nuggets playing with fire. This could be 2-2, and Nugs would be down 1-3 playing like this. Coach and deeper two-way roster. I mean, yeah, Nuggets very close to being in a 2-2 series, absolutely.
But they're not.
They're not, though. S-Bang. One of my favorite highlights is Jokic perking up when Miroslav got his question at the post-game presser. Got a good answer, too. Safe travels. Something. What does that say?
Druže. Which means buddy.
Buddy.
Safe travels, buddy.
Jason Cap. I know we wanted the sweep, but sometimes it's nice to take the gentleman's approach. Also think Nick Wright is using reverse psychology. Nuggets in 5.
Who cares what Nick Wright's doing?
S-Bang for the Serbian exchange fund. Run it back.
Hell yeah.
I hope we get to, man.
Me too. Me too.
Mustafa Jones had a great time meeting the DNVR crew
Hell yeah.
after that savage game winner from Murray in Game 2. I'll be back for more playoff moments soon. For now, I cheer from Atlanta.
Hell yeah, man. We love meeting you too.
Jason Cap again. The money was donated for Miroslav's
Pepto-Bismol
after eating an unspoken amount of Taco Bell. Brother, get home safe, Miroslav. Miroslav equals Aaron Gordon.
Thanks.
Like,
The
isn't that
soul
he was,
of the Nuggets.
he was
That's a
absent tonight.
compliment.
Really could have brought it a little harder tonight, Miroslav.
Yeah.
Just like Aaron Gordon, man.
True story.
Matt Walker, Jokic is a savant playing chess while all else playing checkers. Still making Jamal better, but he still only gets up 4 big games. F the Lakers. Stay on parade.
SOP, stay on
F the
parade.
Fakers, stay on
Oh,
parade.
Yeah, dude.
First time seeing that.
Yeah.
SOP.
Son
Teeman,
of a pitch.
the saving grace is we have been terrible all series.
That
Eventually,
is
we
a
got to
saving
play
grace.
good.
You know what? Look on the bright side, guys. We've been bad all 4 games.
Yeah.
And we should have swept.
Yeah. That's the bright side? Hold up
That
a
is the
second.
bright side.
Sam Donald. Guys, they finally saw the in-season tournament banner and went, shit, we need Greg Whittington. That's a good super chat.
That's an ultimate callback.
And that is it.
Woo, we did it, fellas.
Miroslav, give us your final thoughts, your final sign-off.
This is all the time we had for today, so yeah. it's like basketball is life. Life is basketball. Nuggets are good, guys. Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, yeah, my trip is gonna suck a bit. Like I'm gonna be in a plane for 12 hours thinking about like why like the Nuggets didn't show up in the game 4. But other than that, life is good. Love your loved ones.
Get your pet spayed and
Call
neutered.
your mom. You know, like be good to your friends. Be good to your enemies. Like, it's like
We love you, the Lakers.
Yeah, we love you,
We
Lakers.
love you,
Come
D'Angelo
on.
Russell.
Come on.
We love you. Austin Reeves. Our guy.
You're my kind of guy. I love what you're bringing out there.
In all sincerity, we loved having you here, and we've loved bringing everybody along for Miroslav's ride here. Let's close this out while he's in the plane on Monday or whatever it is.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
And move on to the next one. Hit that like button for us on the way out. Thanks, everybody.
Let's go.
Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.